Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Haverhill Town Council meeting on Monday the what's the date? 19th of February 2024. Thank you. Before we start, please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Town Council, where possible live streaming on YouTube. Please note that the recording device is sensitive and the live stream may be recorded by third parties, so do not say anything you do not want recorded. If necessary, I will direct all recording in the room and the live stream to be stopped, but generally I want to avoid doing that. So we will normally record everything except any item taken on closed sessions. Members of the public may also make their own recordings, but must follow our rules for doing so, including stopping recording when requested. Whilst we do not accept anonymous speaking at the public forum, members of the public who wish to speak but do not want their name published must please indicate this before saying your piece. Thank you. Item 1 on the agenda is apologies for absence.
We have apologies from Councillor Cox, who's on family care duties, Councillor Davison, who's attending Twin Town event, and Councillor Miller Jones, whose car broke down on the way here.
Okay, so the proposal to accept those apologies. Councillor Page, secondly, Councillor Hanlon, all in favour? Thank you. Item 2 then is the declaration of interest and request of dispensation. So for any members to declare any interest they may have on any item on the agenda and agree any dispensations to stay. For A, disposable pecuniary interest, the other registrable interest, or C, non-registrable offensive. Do we have any? Looks like none.
Did councillors who are dual-hatted want to seek a dispensation for unregistered interests as the West Suffolk Street Trading policies of the agenda?
Did you hear that? Yeah. So those West Suffolk councillors, if they want to ask for dispensation to speak on the street. Yeah. Proposed by Councillor Brown, Councillor Hammond. So,
Yeah, everyone can vote for them.
yeah, so all in favour? Thank you. Item 3 is the minutes of the meetings of the Town Council held on the Monday 29th of January 2024. Confirm that they are a true record. So they're displayed on the screen there. Page, please, Colin. So, 94. Okay, so propose that there are true record that place. Councillor Martin, seconder. Councillor Hannon, all in favour? That's carried, thank you. Okay, just going back to there's a couple of points on there, I believe.
So the casual vacancy is advertised, and I've sent you all email your pack so you can share that with anyone who wishes. It's advertised on our website and on the notice board in the centre of town and in the ward. I did send a press release to the Haverhill Echo. I don't know whether anyone saw it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Sorry, Councillor Green.
So just on the advertisement, can we put it on our Town Council Facebook page?
Yes, if you wish. Yes. There's no updates to
Thank you. Item 5 then, reports from District and County Council councillors on issues pertinent to Haverhill members of the public forum. So 5A is the police report, which you generally don't get. We did have Councillor Byrne send his report through. I do read, I think that there's going to be £66 million available nationwide to what's more policing in. Did I read that correctly? No? I haven't read it. You haven't seen that? Okay. So I'm back, sorry. And I just wondered how much we were going to get in Southwark or something. Yeah, no doubt we'll hear. Anybody else, any questions on the police report? There's not really a report, but anyone wants it. Anyone who makes any comments at all? No? Thank you. Okay, 5B then is County Council's report. Councillor Mason's report. Anybody want to add to that at all? Or?
If you don't mind, I'd just like to highlight a couple of things just in case members haven't gone through it. First things first, the roads are in a shocking state at the moment. Each winter, the roads are seeming to cut up. I do have some news that Mr McDonough will be very pleased about. That Clarendon Road and Norton Close, which leads to the doctor's surgery, are on a list as part of £10 million that's being shared across Suffolk. Now, £10 million doesn't go very far. I was very disappointed that those two roads weren't on the list. And in fact, I didn't think that Haverhill got a particularly good deal. I've since seen the list, I can't remember. I haven't been given it yet, but I've seen the list, and I can say that those two roads are on, and we should see some good works being done on estate roads. Withersfield Road is cutting up. It's even interesting that Tesco's car park is cutting up. Yeah, so speaking with highways today, just raising attention and just trying to get as much done as possible. I did want to just briefly mention if somebody had caught a new entry into the report regarding the Persimmon playground. Turf hasn't been stolen. That's been very latest. They're working on it. And to be honest, that kind of underlines my frustrations with Persimmon, that they're not delivering for other people. And the site's a mess. It's an absolute quagmire. And I'm meeting with planners tomorrow to discuss some changes to the plans that we saw regarding the local centre, but also the state. And the path, which is absolutely crucial, that links between Persimmon and the Boys and Bull estate. They promised us they'd start it in February, and they still haven't done. The banking hub, Colin had assurances on the 1st of February that the banking hub, they were in contract negotiations and they would tell us when they've got news. I'm not particularly satisfied with that. I was meant to meet them by the end of January, and that hasn't happened. I've reached out again, and I'm very keen to get a meeting. Councillor Crooks previously mentioned requested that there should be a cash point. For Cash Access UK wouldn't necessarily provide a cash point, that would be done by link, and I want to make sure that those conversations between Cash Access UK and the link are taking place so that we get maximum facility at the banking hub. Other than that, the rest isn't my fault. Thank you.
Yeah, the area around the playground has been mentioned to me as well, which I'll sound to you, you're obviously aware of it. Apparently one side of the road is by the playground is fine, but the Persimmon side is a bit of a mess around again. But Councillor Brown.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. We did bring that up. I think it was at the outline when the detail came up around how liable that was to flood up there, because Puddlebrook, you know, the top of the chalks and the playing fields there, and all of a sudden, even the parkway fields up there, as soon as it gets to winter, you can hardly walk. And I said it'd be really good if they put some drainage in there, and they did it. But it's not your fault, but it's just something that, you know, was flagged up at the time, and unfortunately, because for 3 or 4 months of the year, those playing fields are going to be virtually unusable. It's a shame.
Can I just ask the two roads, Clarendon Road, you said, and what was the other one?
Clarendon Road and Norton Close.
Okay.
Two long-standing roads that need to get highway stuff.
I know that Colin has been conversation about the banking hub as well. I didn't know if you've got anything to add to that at all, Colin.
No, Councillor Mason's summed it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it is frustrating. It'd be nice if they took us into their confidence and told us the location so that they could benefit of local knowledge, which is what we provide for developers. So let's hope they've chosen a good choice.
Anybody else got questions on Council Master report? No? Okay. So good. 5C, which is district councillors. Anything to report? A bit quiet, isn't it? Okay, thank you. 5D, there's town councillors matters report. Again, you've had Councillor Burden's summary there. Anything you want to add?
Only that I received this afternoon the report about Arches, 62 pages of inspection report done by Balfour Beatty last September. It's quite detailed, so I haven't distributed it yet, I only came this afternoon. Just before I came down here, in fact. But the interesting comment from the person who sent it to me is their Department for Transport, legal department, is looking into why West Suffolk are claiming they don't own it. So there may be a bit of a clash of heads somewhere, maybe sometime. Who knows?
Yeah, needs to be sorted. Yeah. Councillor Crooks, sorry.
Talking of potholes, I've just sort of seen a great big pothole. The entrance as you go into the Pound Stretcher car park, so it's a West Suffolk. It's a West Suffolk pothole. So I don't know if any West Suffolk councillors want to report that. Just as you go.
Into the car park?
Yes, Off-Brook Service Road. So on the entrance.
Oh. Just parked in there, didn't see that.
Oh, and secondly, the news that they're looking at contracts from the banking hub, I think that is good news. We were all worried it wasn't going to happen, so that is good news.
Okay.
I just mentioned that. The only thing that worries me a little bit is contractors are already, as Paul says, looking at removing all the equipment out of Lloyd's Bank, including the safe. So that may not be an obvious, I mean, it'd be an obvious building to have one, but the contractor said, oh, I didn't know you were getting a banking out. So, hopefully there's a bit of joined up thinking somewhere amongst all these banks and
There's
everything.
not much left in there, John. You're pretty much there.
Yeah.
Thank you. 5D then is members of the public welcome to make statements or put questions at this time.
Yeah, it's pleasing to learn that the project for the recycling, new project of recycling is on track, and hopefully we all in this town will look forward to have a new area to which public can dispose of their goods, and the old one, when it don't come into fruition, that when it's open and in service, the old one then will be able to be closed down, and those residents that live on top of that old place will be very, very pleased, I'm sure. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, it's long overdue, and I think that it's thanks to all who has involved in pushing for the project. So thank you all very much. Well done.
I think you're very kind. It's long overdue.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I'm as the councillor, the current councillor involved in overseeing it, I'm frustrated it hasn't progressed faster. I have been promised that they're looking at between June and September opening. I'm doing a visit in April, right, where I hope to be reporting back to the town council more widely what's going on.
Good, good work, good work.
Okay, so item 6 then is the street trading consultation, and it's for us to consider a response, if we want to make one, to the West Suffolk consultation on street trading stores. Anyone like to speak on this? Councillor Burns?
Just as a background, I brought this up 8 years ago with West Suffolk. The last time the street trading was actually revised was 1999, and I had big conversations with licensing at the time. They wanted to do all kinds of things, because at the moment you have consent streets, which in this town is the High Street, the whole of Hamlet Road and Queen Street. That's the only consent streets in the whole of the town. But they were trying to make every street into a consent street, and I said that's not acceptable. Equally, we don't want people just randomly turning up and parking in a vehicle somewhere and start cooking or whatever they're doing, or trading without anybody taking notice. So I personally put in comments at the time, and what I did last week was actually repeated those same comments, where it has to be a level playing field. For example, a trader who might only trade for 2 hours 1 day a week is charged the same amount of money as somebody who's there all day, all night, for 7 days a week. So they have, and it's patently unfair if they do that. But I think they also need to be including, and I've said this, about things like A-boards, but blocking pavements, that all needs to be all part of the same process. Again, A-boards, they promised me 8 years ago were going to be looked at, they haven't done so. So it's great to have a consultation after 25 years, but it's 25 years too late, and certainly 8 years too late. So if you haven't done so already, even if you don't do it as a town council, please put in your own comments. I think every little bit helps, as they say. Thank you.
So are you suggesting we just make individual representations
Well,
rather than as a town council?
Colin did send it out to everyone, but nobody responded as I understand it. So I think if the individual wants to do it, that's fine. That's my personal view.
Yeah.
Councillor Brown?
To be fair, I think what John said about the pro rata charges is something that we should, the town council, to be fair, it's really important that, we don't charge people exactly the same for a week because we do, someone wants to do half a day or something like that. I think that's really important, and that would be hopefully encourage people to put a stall down or something like that. So I think that's something that, we should possibly see.
Councillor Brooks?
Talking about fee charges, like I wondered whether the town should have a different fee structure, because obviously Bury St Edmunds has very high footfall, and you would imagine that the licence for street trading in Bury St Edmunds should be higher than what it is in Haverhill. That's what crosses my mind. If we want to attract people, our fees should be lower than some of the better football towns.
I just have one other thing. That's the website actually specifically says it's got nothing to do with markets as such. But we have traders who trade in our town during the week and also on a market day, and they're actually charged twice. They were until I intervened. So I'm hoping nobody else is charged. A particular trader I was talking about, Andy Bergerman.
He's not part of the market.
No, but he was being charged twice. And I dealt with it. So he was being charged twice because markets were being charged and also licensing was charged as a street code. So we need to make, it has to be a level playing field for everyone.
Councillor Mason?
It was just a passing thought, really, Chair, that an awful lot of the high street shops benefit from a lively, active market. And I just wondered whether we are reaching out to some of the shops to invite them to take part in this consultation as well. Because, of course, it's in our interest that we have a vibrant market to increase footfall.
Councillor Andre?
I'm with the comments that would have been made that we should all respond individually, and that's certainly right. But while you are responding, you might wish to know if there is virtually no enforcement going on. This is not a surprise. In no other area of the council policy does it enforce. Street trading needs enforcement without doubt, both at the market level and at the nighttime economy level, because the traders, if not properly regulated, will cut corners, and that endangers our community.
So it's obviously some councils have already made their own individual comments and representations. Do we want the notes that are made there? Do we want to put them forward also as a town council? Yes, Brown.
I propose that we do. I think it reinforces what you said as individuals.
Okay. You've got a second of that, Councillor Green. Nobody else has got any more comments to make. We'll take that vote on that. So all those in favour then? Yeah. That's carried.
So we want to answer as far as the prohibited street, consent streets. Emerging approach is to not have any streets that are undesignated, so every trader, as from relation to the council, was not having any streets prohibited. Councillor Burns.
Yeah, I think so, but we don't want that. Is that what you were saying? We don't want the whole blanket.
I would argue you probably need it for the town centre to ensure you don't have people just turning up and affecting existing shop businesses. So when they've got the consent street, but it's a bit like the PSPO areas. They're a bit over the top, so the consent street goes all the way down to the junction of Hamlet Road in Herringhausen Way. You know, I'm not saying anyone would trade down there, but why have that? You know, I think it should be definitely town centre, and perhaps even the local centres as well. You know, you can't just turn up and.
So it should be restricted to the town centre. Obviously, the way it's worded there is that basically the whole of the town, isn't it?
But it says every application would then be considered on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
So in other words, you couldn't just set up on any old street, you'd have to apply for consent to set up.
That'd be control.
But can I come back on that? If we take payment licences, which is not far off what we're, you know, talking about lots of shops that are doing it, is that, you know, we saw this during COVID, that people were just turning, were not applying for licences, turning up, and even though we told licensing about it, because of the lack of enforcement officers, Councillor Andre's already mentioned, nobody's doing anything about it. And that's not changed. We still don't have any enforcement officers.
Can I ask a question? So
Yes.
who actually in charge of the street trade operations right for West Sutton?
West Sutton.
Yeah, but which part of West Sutton?
Licensing.
Licensing, right? I can't see it happening. Sure, if we can't get a it's easier, we can trade down there.
Standing controllers.
So what we're saying is it's a case-by-case basis, then you have to keep not blanket.
Yeah, exactly, because that's the only way you've got stuff before the council to actually know what's going on, otherwise you just be setting up willy-nilly and selling all manner of different things. So I think that it should actually apply in some way so that the council can say that they know what's going on.
So I'm just making sure I'm understanding. So are we arguing that there should be some prohibited streets so that it's really clear to enforcement, to ourselves, to the public and traders, that those roads you can't trade on? Or are we saying scrap all that and it's on a case-by-case basis?
Yeah, if I just clarify, consent street of council is basically they're the only places that you're allowed to trade. Yeah. But you still have to apply for a licence.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Okay. If you don't have any consent streets, you can apply to go anywhere. So, like, you know, you could go park a vehicle outside your house, for example. Still apply, still have to apply. But, you know, that doesn't stop you applying.
But the thing is, like you mentioned around local centres, you know, it could be people want to put a stall up there at some stage or something. Yeah. So we're not restricting that, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so Councillor.
I think the simplest thing is if it applies for the whole town, which I think is what West Suffolk actually wants to do, because then there's a town expand, or you know, there's different areas we might want to allow people to trade on. They can apply to be there, rather than just having certain roads might in the future require another change to include a road. So a blanket coverage kind of just makes sense.
So that's different to what we were just saying just now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was thinking about a chipping van, and maybe he wants to sort of put his van up on the new estates. He would have to apply for a separate licence, wouldn't he? Or not?
if there's a blanket coverage, you'd have, whoever it is would have to apply for consent to trade in that area, yeah.
If you're on specific space, you wouldn't be able to trade.
They have to apply anyway, in any case, but at the moment, there's no point applying because a lot of the roads are prohibited.
Yeah. So I think we should.
The suggestion from Councillor Lucarini is you get rid of that, and then he still has to apply,
Yeah.
but any road he wants to apply for, it's then a case-by-case basis to whether he gets it.
They can still refuse it, so you know, if it's the middle of a housing estate, you know, the common sense approach from licensing officers would hopefully be, you know, that's a refusal. But if, say, we're talking about Strasbourg Square area, you know, potentially they might say actually that's okay.
Then would he have to buy separate licences, or would he have to pay a separate fee for every different
Yes.
location?
Yeah.
Well,
It's already the case.
sorry, at the moment, if you have 2 stalls in a town, or even in West Suffolk, you have to pay twice. It's not a fee for your business, it's a fee for the stall. Now, there could be an argument, but the trouble is that if you allowed a business to open up multiple locations, that's you know, you could open up 50 locations and still only pay 1 fee, you know, in theory.
What we really want to do is give the council an opportunity to comment on whether they want the stall here, but we don't want to actually ban anyone from anywhere. We leave it to the council to decide, you know, because otherwise we just have to go through every virtual street and area in the town, you know, just.
I don't know the answer to this question, so I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah.
Ice cream man,
Yeah.
stops every 100 yards of 2 shots.
I've commented about that as well.
Yeah, so what happens, would they have a licence for every time they stop?
No, it's not that. No, it's not that. I commented. You don't. That's okay because they've already got a licence already. Ice cream vans come under some different legislation, but the problem we have in this district, unlike quite a lot of others, is we do not have a policy to stop them trading outside schools and things like that at school leaving time. Westfield School's a classic one, when a guy goes and parks all over the grass verge and all the kids come running across the road because there's an ice cream van there. And there's a couple of other locations they go to. And I have complained about it, and I did a lot of research about 4 years ago about it. And West Suffolk said, oh, we've never got round to doing it because it's all part of our street trading thing, which we haven't done anything about. So there's another thing I think, yeah. But they do come under different legislation. But equally, what we have to be careful about, and as I said, from the experience of the COVID, is that licensing actually do their job, that they don't just randomly give permission to somebody without any thought about what they're doing, any maybe consultation, I don't know, you know, or advertising it, because at the moment they don't really advertise the licence applications either.
They're not on the website.
Street trading licences.
Not street trade licence, no, they do.
How many applications street trade licence in the last 5 years? Don't get many at all.
No, I used to get them, I
Just
don't.
get more than one. I had a street trade licence, but you know, I mean,
Yeah, on that particular subject, you know, consultation, shouldn't the district councillors be consulted as well? Because I think that's very important.
We already are.
Yeah.
We are on certain things, but I'm talking about an ice cream van outside schools.
But that's different, because that just comes under their licence to be an ice cream van.
Yeah, different legislation.
Yeah, no, but we're consulted on, you know, shop licences and things like that, but we're not consulted on that sort of ice cream van. So I don't
There
think
hasn't been any applications for ice cream vans.
They just turn up and do their own thing. That's what happens.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. Shouldn't we?
No, you need enforcement.
Yeah, well, if we don't know about the ice cream van parking on a particular school,
Well, what's it, at the moment, ice cream vans can go anywhere in the town. They come under a separate licence. So the ice cream vans we have in the town are able to trade as they do at the moment. There is no problem, you know. But I think what John's suggesting is there should be a change there that stops them from being able to trade outside schools. But at the moment, that doesn't exist. So we're not consulted if, you know, an ice cream van wants to go outside the school, they just can, that's acceptable.
Right.
But when it comes to street trading licences, if someone was to put in a new street trading licence, as the district council for that area, you would be
Yeah.
consulted.
Yeah, but I was just talking in John's particular case.
Okay, so where we're going with this then? So are we saying that we
Yeah, we
want everybody to,
if anywhere, I think that's what
Yeah, I think I'm hearing that you agree with the emerging
Yeah.
approach.
anywhere, as long as, you know, all we're looking for is consultation with the officers so they can decide.
And enforcement.
And enforcement.
Yeah, and I think we should put enforcement on it, yeah, especially. Yeah, I entirely agree on that.
And there's a question on public safety. Do you believe there should be criminal record checks made of street traders during the application process?
Say that again, Colin.
Do you believe there should be criminal record checks made about street traders when they apply for a street trading licence? Yes, no, or don't know?
would you do that for any other business?
Yes.
My answer to the question, I thought about is no, primarily because you don't know who's serving behind the thing anyway. It could be anybody. You know,
Yeah,
Fred
Joe.
Bloggs might apply for a licence and the Joe Bloggs might be the person actually running the van.
Again, it's an enforcement, isn't it?
Well-
I mean, you can call it what you like there, but how is that enforced?
It's down the owner.
Yeah.
So we've got a yes or a no or a don't know.
We don't do it for you.
Right?
We don't do it for the markets.
So
All our first applied.
So I'll put the question again then. So do you believe that there should be any criminal record checks made of street traders during the process of application? Three options, yes, no, I don't know. So, Councillor Cross.
I think that would be over the top. You know, you can go into an 18-year-old girl can go into a tattooist and they haven't had a CRB check on the high street. So, but they want to apply a CRB to a trader when every shop hasn't got a CRB.
Chipping in? Dick. If anyone's got any comments at all, is there anybody that fundamentally thinks that there should be checks? Is there anybody who thinks there actually shouldn't be checks? And is there anybody who just
checks that?
Is there
I'm
anybody
only
who's...
hearing no at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Sorry to come back.
It's all right.
There is one check I would like, would be, with street trading, would be the right to work in the UK. That's the only check I would
That's done generally. You
Think
do what
about
you
it,
want, you get the
You would hope that that's sort of sinking into hardship. We don't know for sure, but yeah, we'll let that comment, but that's fair enough. Okay, so we're saying basically no.
If there's anything else we'd like to say in relation to street
We've got enforcement.
trading? Yeah.
Is there any other comments that we would like to sort of make? No. If you do, do it in yourself. Okay. Thanks very much. So moving on then to item 7 is the Knife Angel. And this is to consider underwriting the £4,000 returnable deposit necessary to enable this tax allotment payable. Colin, do you want to sort of and so forth?
So obviously this is, you had the report from Sarah which kind of set it all out. Harvey Barfield, my father, is clearly and understandably very keen to bring this to Haverhill. But we can't, I don't know quite the reason why, but we can't be the kind of the lead, but the Police and Crime Commissioner, who's currently in position, is willing to say yes to that, and one assumes that he or whoever takes his place will simply honour that. And basically we have this knife angel. There's a picture of it. You may have seen a knife angel on TV, etc. But it's basically an extremely large sculpture made out of confiscated and surrendered knives in any knife amnesty, etc. And it's really a monument against violence and aggression. So the father needs to raise some money, and we can offer to help in terms of if he wants to put on an event to raise money, we can provide gazebos and logistical support, etc. But in the first place, we need £4,000 as a refundable deposit, refundable upon receipt of a end of grant report, letting the artists know how it went. So the suggestion is that if we stump up that refundable deposit, then we can then support Mr Barfield with the rest of the project and getting it off the ground and having it into Haverhill.
Okay, so what is the risk to the 4,000? It says returnable depending on end of
Yeah, well,
I mean, what would stop us getting £4,000 back?
Well, I suppose if for some strange reason, even with our support, he failed to raise the funds for the transportation costs, etc. And so the event didn't go ahead. I think, you know, then it would make more sense to actually make up the difference and then get the, because we get more money back, it's silly to lose 4,000 for the sake of £1,500 transport costs.
So that's transport from here to Peterborough afterwards, yeah?
No, from Peterborough to here.
Oh, right, okay.
If it goes on to somewhere else, then the next people pay those costs. There's nobody booked in before us.
Okay, I thought I read that was being covered somewhere, the £1,500 or the use of a flat fixed trunk or something.
Well, he wants to stay out fund for that.
There was also an issue, a question around insurance.
Yeah, so we have to work out what the insurance is going to be on that. I mean, we'll be able to include that, but again, it may add to what they need to raise to make the event take place. But realistically nowadays, given the kind of outpouring of support at the time, I don't think it's a hugely high barrier to expect crowdfunding to be able to make, plus any event that he's able to put on to raise money for. So I'd be very surprised if we weren't able to work with him to raise the money.
Any questions there? Councillor Green. Sorry.
So has any fundraising taken place yet?
But this says that Mr Barfield and his family are very keen to start fundraising. Certainly he's been bombarding Sarah with lots of ideas. There's lots of people who have come forward who have offered him support and help in fundraising. But as far as I'm aware, until they've actually got it bottomed out, I'm not aware of any fundraising. That doesn't mean they haven't, I just don't know.
That's Andre.
I'm very keen to subscribe to this and for us to be supporting it. I'm a bit confused about what the Police and Crime Commission is actually doing for it. If you're raising the money and the insurance.
So you're right to be confused because it doesn't really make any sense. But when we talked to the artist about us being the sponsoring organisation, the artist said no. He doesn't work with town councils. He'll work with the police commissioner, the bishop, a district council, a borough council, etc. But he won't work with town and parish councils. Didn't really give any sensible explanation for that. So effectively, he's simply providing an endorsement, which is useful because obviously in terms of going into the pre-election period, he wouldn't be able to do anything else anyway.
Councillor Green, do you want to come back on that one?
Yeah, well, I was just going to put a proposal forward that we do underwrite the £4,000. I think this is a really positive thing for Haverhill. It's a very, very important subject, especially considering what happened. I'd like to see this sculpture come to Haverhill, especially in the town centre. I'm happy to propose.
Okay. Councillor Brooks.
Yeah, I'll be happy to second Councillor Lucarini. with the night vigil, it has got a track record. You know, it's very easy to look up the cities it's been to and the towns it's been to already and look at the track record. I was looking at one city and over 25 schools got involved in going to the sculpture, and it really went well. So it is a very important and worthwhile thing to have.
Councillor Smith.
I just wanted to ask something. I missed it when I was reading it through. When is this likely to happen?
September.
Okay.
So, sorry.
September, reporting September. Okay, so if nobody else has any more comments, we've got a proposal to underwrite £4,000 from Councillor Carini, seconded by Councillor Crooks. So all those in favour? That's carried. Thank you very much.
One quick question on that. Who's actually writing the report at the end?
I would imagine that will be Sarah and Mr. Barfoot who write the report. Obviously, we've got 1,000 reasons to make sure
That's what I was thinking.
I just make this one application over to on down. Item number 9 is the Mayor's report. There is none. I did our report because basically there's only a couple of things that happened, and I thought I'd lump it next time. But if anybody wants to ask any questions about anything I've been doing, they're quite welcome to do. No, I'll say that's a no then. Moving on then. Item 10 is the One Haverhill Partnership.
Okay, so the last meeting had a report from the board, so there hasn't really been anything else to report after that at this stage.
Is there anything update on the science?
It's coming together. We're hoping to have the website calendar published very shortly.
Any questions? No. Item 11 then is adoption of committee reports. 11A is the planning committee. To move the adoption of the minutes of the meeting held on 30th January 2024 and the recommendations contained therein. That was moved by Councillor Hadley, seconded by Councillor Martin. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. 11B is the Energy Sustainability Working Party. Again, to move the adoption of the minutes of the Working Party meeting held on the 5th of February 2024 and any recommendations contained. Councillor, is that the proposal, is that?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, second, Councillor Smith. All those in favour? Carried, thank you. Item 12, financial matters. A is to authorise the following payments list as on your agenda papers. Proposed by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Lucarini. All those in favour? That's carried. Number 13. 14 is actually cows, there are none.
So at the last meeting I mentioned the van for the parish handyman. Today I signed to purchase a Ford Transit van, a high top van, so it's a larger capacity vehicle than we had before, so it will mean that for some of the events, etc., we won't have to hire a van. We'll be able to get our stuff backwards and forwards there by ourselves. We'll pick it up next Thursday. So the net cost is £9,000 after you take off the insurance money from the old.
Sorry, Colin, I didn't hand over this webpage earlier on. Is it a long wheelbase?
I don't think it is a long wheelbase, but it's not. It doesn't look very short either. I'm not quite sure. If they do have a medium wheelbase.
Medium one. Some not medium wheelbase in it. What year is that, Colin?
2019. It looks all pretty square.
With a wheel on each corner.
Yep, that's well. That was extra.
Anything item 15 is to receive any urgent correspondence? None. Please. Item 16 is the date of the next meeting, which is Monday the 18th of March 2024, 7 p.m. And close the meeting at 19:46.